Greetings, motorcycle enthusiasts. Today I'm going to show you how to reassemble the Honda NTV650 carb, and as always what I'm going to show you is how to do one of the two, and then obviously the other one's identical, and you can do that one on your own. But first let's take a look at the tools we're going to need. For starter, a small powerful flashlight is always helpful, and a 7mm wrench, just a regular one, a 10mm socket wrench, in this case it's attached to a T-handle wrench, and a JIS2 or Phillips head screwdriver, regular screwdrivers of various sizes, a short length of fuel hose. All right, let's get started. As you can see here, this is the repair kit, and over here you can see that the seal has already been attached to the flow chamber. All right, now I've gone ahead and already prepared the drain plug, as you can see here. This is the new O-ring from the repair kit, and it's already on there, and as always you can find the repair kit in the video description. We're going to start by making sure that all these little air passages are clear of any obstructions after the carb's been cleaned, and to do that we're going to use this short length of fuel hose to blow some air through these passages. And we're going to do the same here, and then also over here, and make sure that this little passage is also clear. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to the float needle valve, and that would be this one right here. And as you can see, a washer has already been attached to it, and then we're going to go ahead and insert it right here. And to tighten it, we're going to need the 10mm socket wrench. And now we're going to go ahead and move on to the nozzles. And this here is the jet holder for the main jet. I'm going to go ahead and spray a little bit of silicone in there first. And now I'm going to go ahead and screw in the jet holder with this 7mm wrench and make sure you don't over-tighten it. Now the choke draws fuel through here, so go ahead and make sure that's been cleared of any obstructions as well. And now let's continue on with the main jet, which is screwed right in here into the jet holder, and once again I can't emphasize this enough, do not over-tighten. And next up is the idle jet, and that's this one right here. And that's going to go right in here. And now we're going to go ahead and screw that on in. And now we're all set to go ahead and attach the float. And for that, we're going to go ahead and grab the new float needle from the repair kit. And it's got to be attached to this little metal tongue right here. For that, we're going to go ahead and push the wire bracket now onto the little metal tongue, for which we're going to need this little small pin that holds the float in place. And now I'm going to go ahead and take the whole float assembly and go ahead and slide it on in there, and also make sure that the float needle slips in place. And now we're going to go ahead and take that small pin and push it on through here, and don't worry about it because later on it's going to be held in place by the float chamber cover, so it'll be all right. And now we're going to continue on with a float chamber cover. I've already gone ahead and screwed in the drain plug along with the new O-ring that comes with it. And now we're going to go ahead and put the cover on like this. Also make sure that that seal has been seated correctly. And now we're going to go ahead and put all 4 screws back in. This one right here has got a holder for the fuel hose. and now this one, and this one, and this one. And the next thing we got to do is the air mixture screw, which goes in here. I've laid it all out here. And here's the screw, along with a spring, and then the washer, and finally the O-ring. And the whole enchilada has got to be assembled in that order. And go ahead and make sure that that O-ring is secure so that it can't fall off. I'm going to go ahead and spray some silicone in there into this assembly opening. I'm going to go ahead and hold it a little bit more level so that the air mixture screw can be fitted in more easily. Sometimes it's a little harder with a new O-ring. And as always, you can find the basic setting for the air mixer screw in the video description. So you want to go ahead and carefully screw the screw in all the way, and then out again and count the turns. And the next step is to go ahead and install the air cut valve. And I'm going to go ahead and spray some more silicone on that. And this here is the diaphragm, and that's how it's fitted. And make sure you take a closer look at the diaphragm beforehand, because if it's damaged, you're going to want to replace it. And now I'm going to go ahead and put that spring right on here. And as you can see, there's really only one way you can put that cover on. And this little oval ring, of course, has got to be fitted in here with a rounded part facing up toward the cover. And now we're going to go ahead and put that cover on nice and straight, press down on that spring, and then screw in both of these screws. And then right here on this side, you can see the small little nub, and the top of that is going to fit right into this small metal part right here. That slides right in here, and make sure that's like obviously the right way in there, and that's going to hold this black plastic part in place, so put it in the right way, and that way it'll fit. All right, so that when it looks like this, then you know you've got it right. And now we're going to continue right onto the top of the carburetor. And here we have a slide valve with a diaphragm. And that diaphragm has got to sit snug right in this little groove. And that membrane has got a little eyelet like this. And that's going to match up with this little part right here. So there's really only one way to fit this membrane on there, and so make sure that also that the edge of the membrane is snug in the little groove all the way around. And now we're going to go ahead and place that partial load needle right here into the slide valve. And that needle goes right into this little opening right here in the center, and just be careful with it. And that's what it should look like. And that goes in here now. And now the latch has to go back on. That's this little plastic part with Asmol spring. All right, let's try that again. The spring has got to point downwards. All right, and here's our third attempt. All right, now it's in there. We're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver and lock it down with a small turn. And it should look like this. Now before we put the slide back in the carb, we're going to go ahead and spray it with a little bit of silicone. Now go ahead and insert the slide right here and make sure that that needle slides into the needle nozzle. Now go ahead and position the diaphragm. If you're having a hard time, here's a good trick. Push the slider slightly upwards, then fold the membrane downwards. Now put the edge of it into the groove. It's often a little easier that way. And I'm still holding onto the slider. The spring is simply inserted. And on the lid there's a small little groove right here. And that corresponds to this point right here. And now we're going to carefully put on the lid. And now I can go ahead and let go of that slider, and here you can see 4 screws. I'm going to go ahead and put those in, and then we're done with the lid. All right, and now we're done with one of the carbs. Go ahead and double check and make sure that that slide moves easily up and down. That's pretty important. As for the other carb, it's the same as this one, so you can go ahead and do that one on your own. I hope you enjoyed the disassembly process. Please subscribe to my channel to support me for free, and don't forget to give it a thumbs up to show YouTube that you liked the video. See you in the next video.